Excellent. Good afternoon. My name is Mateo. I'm the operations director here in Journey Mexico, and welcome to another session of AskJourneyMexico.com. So today we're actually having a question here from Sarah, and Sarah puts here 11 days starting at Holbox. Everything seems to be by bus. So we have Uxmal, Flamingos at Celestún, Merida Carnival, Campeche, campsite at Calakmul, Ekbalam, Rio Lagartos, Bacalar. These are all optionals. And the last question is, does she have to go back to Campeche to get back to Cancun airport? So this is obviously very intensive, and it's actually all over here in the peninsula of Yucatan. So if we just start, we just put actually some numbers here. So I assume that you will fly into Cancun, which is the easiest way to get. And from Cancun getting into Isla Holbox, which is over here up on the top, that can be a little bit tricky because it takes actually a while to get. And obviously, once she gets from the mainland to the island, she has to take a little tender boat. This can be done in one day, but it is important to figure out that at what time her flight is arriving, because this takes approximately 4 hours by a normal car. And if she's doing this by bus, then Sarah, you would have to really check that out, that you don't get there at night. I mean, to figure that out. Probably you have to stay over here one night and afterwards go to Isla Holbox. So one night. Isla Holbox is a great area to snorkel. In the summer specifically, it's very famous for the whale sharks. It's a very laid back area. And the second one, which you could take, is actually to come back afterwards. You have probably to come back here onto the main road, and you have to go to Valladolid, and you can go up here until this main top. Here is Rio Lagartos. That's actually an optional which you put. This is also pretty far away, and I would suggest to do this very early in the morning, and also try to stay there like during the day to do that.
Wait, what about Ekbalam?
Ekbalam is in the middle. It's here in the middle. And for my thing, and also seeing that everything is pretty slammed, I would probably leave Rio Lagartos out and just do Ekbalam, maybe a cenote by Valladolid, and continue into Merida. So we would do this in one day. So we would actually take Rio Lagartos away from that. And from Merida, what we can do is afterwards going towards Celestún, which you do have over here to see the flamingos in Celestún. This is actually a 2-hour trip to Celestún, to the flamingos. This is fantastic. I also see that you want to do the carnival. That will be around March, early April this year. So there is actually some festivities in Merida, and this is the perfect season to see the flamingos. For some reasons, the flamingo shows always up. They are there all year, but the most flamingo concentrations, you will see them actually in April. So that is actually great. And I would also say, if you do that from here to Celestún, you take the little boat and see the flamingos, you can continue directly till Uxmal, which is approximately over here. In Uxmal there is a little lodge. There are 2 hotels which are actually directly on the site. And if you have time and you are interested, you can also see the light and sound show, which I would suggest because it's a nice light and sound show. It makes sense to do that. And the entrance fee for the light and sound show will be also usable for the next morning. And early in the morning, you can see this area, the site of Uxmal, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and continue on to Campeche. That's another 2-hour drive to Campeche. And in Campeche, I would stay another night here in Campeche and actually really enjoy. It's a very laid-back village. Food is fantastic. The old downtown is actually without a lot of cars. Very nice colors, like pastel colors, you know, like yellow, blue, and everything, and very clean. You're gonna love Campeche. And from Campeche, we can go on to Calakmul, towards that is actually down here on the south. So Calakmul is a beautiful place to visit, but once again you need at least 2 days, because the entrance into Calakmul is like 60 kilometers into the forests. So this is the second largest biodiversity in the world after the Amazonas. So it is actually very awesome to do that, and you really should spend there at least 2 days. And from here we can continue what I would suggest here to do is, instead of going back here to Campeche, is to continue this way here. And so Bacalar is actually here on this side, so you can see it on this area, and we can afterwards end up in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum. There are actually very good hotels. I mean, all the pricings, I mean, that can be expensive or not. So the question here, if you have to go back to Campeche to fly to Cancun, that will be actually taking off. I mean, these flights normally, although they're short, they are normally very expensive. So I would rather do a drive through here. So if you look at the whole thing in seeing that you want to do it by bus, I believe you probably would have to take a little bit more days, 14 days, or you should take something out here.
If you were going to cut, what would you cut?
I would cut, from my point of view, Rio Lagartos. It is very nice, but we're going to see Celestun, so that's similar. So I would take Rio Lagartos out. We could leave Ekbalam, Bacalar, and the rest we can actually keep it in. But probably Isla Olbos is also kind of tricky to get there. I mean, if you like to doing it, then you can do it. Also, an easy way to do it, and sometimes it doesn't really expand more, is actually to take the services through us with a private guide and a car, so we can drive you all over. The advantage you have there is obviously you get to the places exactly at the right time, and you can spend more time if you like it than actually being tied on a schedule with the bus, because sometimes the buses leave and what do? Now you're in the cenote, or you have a nice time there. So I think it is a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely an added value. So I would say, like, for the whole thing, I would say 11 days, it is feasible with a private car and driver. With the bus, I would say take it like a little bit more, like 14 days. So this is actually all for today. I hope it helped you. And if you have more questions, please just log in to or mail us in ask@journeymexico.com. Thank you very much. Yola